Hi and welcome back. So in this part I would like to do the materials and rendering and stuff like this, and I decided to choose a different approach as before by other tutorials. So I will not do the stuff here, but I already did it, and we will do something like reverse engineering. So I will explain what I have done and the settings and everything, and I would like to explain the stuff which I do usually and which I did right here a bit more than just like texturing materials very quickly, because this scene was a bit more complex than I thought, so I decided to choose this approach. So first of all, I choose this because I would like to explain a bit more than usually, and the second thing was I would like to try something new, so this kind of new way. So please let me know if it's okay for you. If not, I will reverse this, and by the next tutorials I will just do the same as I did before. So we will do the materials and so together. Okay, so here is my scene, already textured and all materials, all lights and so on. So I will explain what I did. So first of all, we end up in the part before, by something like this. We had the camera in the scene, we had the models. I was playing a bit with the camera, so the angle is a bit different, maybe than by you. But before I started to do the lighting and stuff, I made two changes in my model. Now the first thing was, I hope I can go back, F4 to see the edges. I inset. I selected this poly here and placed there one inset to create this inner edge, which you can see here. The second thing, what I have done before I actually started to do the materials, was here. Selected the tip, or let's call it like that, and I made here one connect. That was all. And also I did the same here, but here I made the connections a bit more, as you can see, because you know, we have there a very simple shape made using the hard surface modeling technique, and we need there a bit more extra edges to control the smoothing at the end. So just like that, nothing hard. So these was the changes I made before I started the materials and lighting and so on. So just like this. So in the moment I done this, I placed my camera a bit more. So I was rotating and trying to find the best angle. I think also I changed this too. I think this was here in the front, and so, and I was just playing with that. If we go to the top view, as you can see, probably I scaled this a bit. I'm not sure about this anymore, but I think yes. Also, one more thing what I have done was I deleted the scatter which we created here. Now the scattering using the cylinders which we created was okay, but there was a lot of poly, and I decided, okay, let's simulate this with a bump map. It would be much easier to do, and the rendering will be better. So I deleted that. I created a very simple bump map which I will show you probably later. There was just there were just white spots on the black background. That was everything. Nothing hard. Anyway, it will be in the package which you can download, so no problem. Okay, so in the moment I had the model, the position, and so on, I started to do the lighting. Now, if we go to perspective, you will see that I have here four lights. Now this is my main light, and these are my secondary lights. Now usually I do just one light, like the main light here, and one in the back. But when I tried to do the scene with this, it was very hard to light up the scene and so, and I really wanted some kind of more dramatic light there. So I had to think, and I came up with four lights. So one main light and three secondary lights. Now, as you can see, the small lights are the same size, but they have different intensity there. So this is just one. This is 175, and this is 2.5. Now I tried to do a step lighting there. So if you look later on the render, there should be to see that the lighting is really distributed a bit different. That the light sources are away, or the intensity is absolutely different. So I was playing with this a lot, and of course I turned off the shadows on these small lights because sorry for that. We really want just shadows from this main light. So if we look on one of the secondary light, I'll just rotate it a bit and probably make from the top that you can see that probably the distance. I tried to do the same distance from here also from these two. So if we check one of these lights, this one, you can see here how big it is. It's already small, and the intensity. So I was going from 2.5, 175 to 1. Very simple. So now to the main light. Now the main light has to be a lot larger because it's the main source of the light for the scene. So as you can see, it's very huge comparing to this, and also the intensity is really huge comparing to this. It's 28. Now this one was 2.5. It's more than 10 more higher. So it's really huge. Now if you ask yourself why I created these three lights, if I have already this big light there, it's because as you can see, our scene is looking very flat. Here's a plane, there are the models, that's everything. Now if it will be a room that we will have here a wall and some windows and so on, and I will be shooting the light from one window, we could set up the bounces from the light, and using the bounces we will light up the scene. But here, even though the light will bounce from, let's say, the plane, it will go away. Doesn't matter what we'll do. In this kind of setup, we don't have to set up any bounces here because there's no sense for them. Only if we have a model, a bit more complicated model, where the light is going under some part and can bounce there, so few parts will be lighter after. But in this kind of setup, there is no need, or it's absolutely unnecessary to do any bounces. So I was in need of a very high light source, but it wasn't enough for the effect which I wanted to do. So I had to create 3 more lights in the background. So very easy, very similar, which we do very often. We create one main, one secondary light, but here I created a few more. So just for that fact, it depends on the scene, on the model, and so on. Maybe it will be rendering just one screwdriver, it will be different. But here we had 3, so I ended up with this. So here we have the shadows on, so we all the time using ray trace shadows. Now the light distribution by all 4 lights is the same, uniform diffuse. If you ask yourself what does exactly mean, because there are a few more, I will compare this to a distribution from bulb in a real world. You know, the light is going in a spherical way and is losing intensity, blah blah blah. So very similar to this, very simple explained. You can try to help in Max to look on how exactly it's working, but I think we can go with that. Now I changed the color to something colder. Intensity 28. Here's the size of that, so much bigger than this one. The rest is by default. I didn't change that. So if you look here, this main light is higher than these ones because they are very small on intensity, and I think you can see the position of that very clear. So I can also do something like this to show a bit more. Now I have, okay, so like this. So this was my light which I created. Now let's go first to the rendering setup. It's much more quicker than first go to the material. So if you use photovoltaic lights, you need to set up exposure. Now I'm using mentally photographic exposure control. I'm controlling just this value, nothing else. All the time I'm using an HDR map. This one is the one which I'm using lately all the time. So you place here a bitmap, you drag it here, change it to spherical environment. Of course you keep it on instance, so what you change here will reflect also here and you are done. So very easy. This was just like to remember the things which we are doing. So using exposure control, this is a very good thing. You know, you can control this also in Photoshop, but here it's like you working with a rough image and in Photoshop with JPEG. So it's better to make the changes really here. It's in electron volts, the same like by a real camera. It's working very nicely. Usually I'm around 2 every time, so it means I could play a bit more with the light, but if we have this option here and it's really nice, why not use that, of course. Okay, so this is one tab. Let's go to setup. The setup again, the resolution, I'm always using this one. Samples 4:16, very simple scene, very simple render setting. Indirect illumination, here we are, no problem. So the initial FG point density 0.8, erase per FG point 250, and so on. So this is more or less default settings. I'm just controlling a bit the base per FG point and FG point density. That's all. Nothing else. Very simple. Now, just to do a quick render, let's do this because it's quite fast and we don't have to wait. So here we go. Like from here, we can control this pretty fast. And I choose the 2, even though I could use 3, but it was too dark. So I choose this. Anyway, I was doing after some Photoshop magic or post-production, let's say, of course. So you can go with some kind of image which you think, okay, it's quite good, it's not perfect, but okay, let's finish it in Photoshop. No problem. So in a moment I had the models ready, the lighting ready, the camera ready, and the render setup. I tried to do the materials. Now doing the materials on this kind of scene was a bit time consuming because I use the screwdriver and you know it's a bit let's say complicated to render. So I decided to create these balls. Now I will hide my screwdrivers, hide selection. I created these balls for one purpose, to test the materials. I'm never doing this while recording tutorials, but if you want to do the best materials for a certain scene, I recommend to do something similar. So you have the lighting setup which you are using, the HDR map, and so on. Everything like you are doing the main render, and you do this kind of balls. You place there the materials, different materials, of course, which you would like to use, and then just hit render, and you are waiting. The thing is that like this you can test a lot of materials like different. As you can see, I have here like 4 black materials and everyone was a bit different. So I saw on the size of the balls, because they are the radius is quite the same like the screwdriver. I saw like the bump map, the reflections, and so on, how they will react on the screwdriver. So I created a lot of balls, placed them a lot of materials. Some of them was like, okay, this is yellow, this is yellow. It's the same material, just a bit more changed here. So I did one render. I saw there like 10, 12 materials. Everywhere different, even though I'm using just 4 materials, but I was changing few parameters there, and I saw how they will react, how they will be looking in the scene. And when I was done with this, I was sure that I will choose you like the black, you like the light yellow, and so on. So this is quite a huge advantage. Not only like you place the materials and okay, you're trying something and so on, because if you do it like this, you have two advantages. First, it's faster than on a real scene you want to render, and second, if you will be doing the screwdrivers and rendering again, you know, in some moment you will forget like how it was at the first time, and if this one is better than the first time. And if you will not save all the images from the render, you will not know this. But here you can do, let's say, 20, 50 balls in one scene with the same lighting you want to use on the final render, and you will see which material is the best. If you like one better than the other, you can compare these two, keep one as the old one and change one to the new one, and instantly you will see which is better or not. So I was going with this approach for the rendering. So I created these balls after I did the lightning and so on, and I started to create the materials. Now let's look on them. I will hide the balls and bring back the screwdrivers. So hide selection. Before I started to create the materials, so apply the materials, I had to divide the polygons to material IDs, because on one model we have more materials at once. This is something which you should know, so I'll just show very quickly. So let's go here. If you know that, of course, because it's not a rule that you have to know this. Select a model, let's say this screwdriver. You select the polys you want to be some material. Usually you're starting with Ctrl A, all polygons, and giving them one material ID. So in set ID you will just place a number, hit enter, and you are done. you do this for all materials, all different parts which should be with different materials on the model. So let's say here's my ID 1. So I selected with Ctrl A the one model. I think I don't remember, to be honest. I deselected the screw, which should be metal. I deselected this, which should be yellow, and I had just the part which should be black. So I select the polys, place the ID, hit enter. I was done. Now I selected the second ID. In my case, it was this. Then I selected the third one, which is this part. So I did just this, nothing else. Placed above this UV map modifier, because I'm using their bump map, and I was done. Now I did that for everything. Now here on this one where we had the scatter, the cylinders, I selected the yellow part, the black part, but also I selected this part. Let's go to shade it, it will be better to see. Yeah, this part. And on this part I applied the bump map. I applied the bump map using Unwrap UV, very simple. We've done that before. And the same I did here. I selected the model, divided in multiple areas, and also I placed here one ID and used the UV map to apply here this writing. That was also applying the materials here in this scene was very easy. I think there is nothing more to explain because what I done here, I done also here and here. The only difference here was that I used the UV map and Antwerp UV modifier to place the maps, and that was all. No problem. And as you can see, I also placed uh, one ID here because this should be a bit different material than the others. That's all. Okay, so after I made this, again I made the camera, I made the lighting, I made the render setup, I did my balls, I made the material IDs for the screwdrivers. I started to do the materials. Now we can go here because these were my testing materials, so we'll go here because these ones are applied to our screwdrivers. So let's go to the floor. Now the floor is very easy. I chose one material from our library. I placed to the diffuse slot this kind of material. I placed to the bump slot the bump map for this, and also I placed the same map to the reflection slot. Very easy. I set up the IRR to 1.4. It should be around 1.46 or so, but it's very similar, so I kept 1.4. I changed the reflectivity to 0.8 and the glossiness to 0.65. Now the low glossiness which we have here will do the reflections which will be there, really small reflections actually, a bit blurred. They will be not clear, they will be blurred. And like this I think it should be on a real floor. So again, very simple material, no hard materials. We never do some kind of hyper difficult materials. We do materials which are easy to do, have nice render output, and are using the Aachen design materials made for Mentrelay. No problem. So this is our first material, it would flow. Okay, so let's go to the first screwdriver. I think it was this one. The black and the yellow, the blue and the red are always the same material. There's a plastic made with a bump map, set up the reflections and glossiness and stuff like this, with a different color of course, but they are still the same materials, like here, here or here. I wasn't changing that. So let's go to the yellow one. Okay, so we have here a yellow color. Maybe it don't look so yellow, but it is yellow. The reflectivity is quite low. It's like 0.55, the glossiness are 0.5. So the glossiness is again set up low to make the reflections which will be there very blurry. Now also the reflectivity is placed down because this shouldn't be some shiny material. It should be some made material, some rough material, and should be looking like if you will hold this in your hand, it will not fall down because it's not shiny and so and glitchy, but it's really rough and nice for holding in the hand. So because of this, the reflectivity is set up low. Now we are using custom reflectivity function. We are not going by the IRR, and we are using a cellular map in the bump map slot. Now if we go here, it would be nice to see that, but we are not. This map is doing some kind of small random dots. They're quite nice for this kind of materials. They can be used for plastic, metal, like bump map and leather and stuff like this, because you're creating a map. Try to place it here somewhere. Let's go here. Let's go with copy. Yeah. So you're creating some kind of this kind of noise. Of course, here it's very low because we are using a small size of the in our render map. But if we enlarge this, you will see how it's looking now. There are dots, actually dots with the colors from white to black, randomly placed here with some settings which we can do here. And this kind of stuff is really doing quite nice bump map, because it's not regular like on an image, but it's really like chaotic there, and it's really creating a very nice image there. So I really like to use that. So I use this in the bump slot in all materials here, really low value, because we don't want it to be high, but also we don't want it to be low. So like that. Again, very simple material like before. No problem. Now for the metal, we did a lot of time the chrome material, so we'll do it one more time. Okay, so the color is gray. The reflectivity and glossiness. And now I was going by 0.88. It's like quite a nice reflectivity. It's not a mirror, but it's quite nice. And glossiness 0.6. Again, we want made blurred reflections. Now the IRR is 50. It should be by the metal, I think. And also we are using this for the reflectivity. So we are going by the IOR, so index of refraction. Refraction, sorry. Okay, again, we did this many times, so I don't think what else I should explain by this material, because again, just few settings here and we have the metal material. We are done. Now here I think I wasn't using any map. Oh, okay. Yeah, now bump map, so it's flat. So, and here is again the same material, which is the yellow one, just black, but the same settings. Okay, let's go here. Here we had two changes. Now, here is this part, separate part from the body. So we have 4 materials just for the body. Now we have 4 materials for the body because we have here these dots. See? These ones here. So as I said, I did white dots on a black background, blurred them a bit. That was all. So I did this, and I placed a high bump there, 8, on both these kind of materials. But again, it's the same like material we used before. It's the same yellow one, and again it's the same black one, but with a different bump. Very simple. To the last one. Now here we go with blue, the same like the yellow. Red, the same like the blue. This one is this one. Now what I did, I placed in the diffuse slot mix material, where I used a mask which I created, this one, just with the writing, and in one slot is the red color, and the second one is the white color. So again, very simple. And here I changed a bit, as you can see, the settings. So I got a bit higher with reflectivity. Now this one, it should be the transparent one. I had small problems here, so it's not looking so best, or the best. It should, but It's also not the worst. Now here I changed the IR to 1.62. Placed here some transparency. I was going by 0.8, so I'm almost by 1, so it's almost absolutely transparent. And also changed the reflectivity and glossiness a bit. The color I kept gray. And that's all. So these are all the materials I did, and all the materials which I applied. So I was basically doing one material, the plastic, with some settings, which was really nice. And I was changing just the color, maybe sometimes few parameters there, and that was all. That was everything. Nothing hard. I think just by looking at the settings here, it's no problem to make again the materials. Now I showed you all the settings of the materials, so if you want to make them again, it's not a problem from this video. So I don't see that any problem. Now I will unhide my balls. I know it sounds a bit weird, but okay. We'll hide the screwdrivers, and just for showing you, I will do a render of this. Now, before or after I did the final render with the screwdrivers, I did also the ambient and occlusion map render. Now, I think everyone knows how to do it, so I will even don't explain this. But again, as I said at the beginning, if you think that this method is not the best for explaining, or that I missed something, or that you don't know how to do an ambient occlusion, I will say fake render, tell me in the comments or write me directly using the form, contact form which we have on our site, and I will change the approach. Now, while this is rendering, let's go to Photoshop. Okay, here is my absolutely final image of the screwdrivers, which I did using final render, ambient occlusion map, and some post-production in Photoshop. Now, let's look on this a bit more deep. Okay, well, that wasn't the best idea to run the render and then try to do something in Photoshop, because this is rendering, but my computer is not much working or doing anything. Yeah, you see how it's changing very slowly, but you can see like the difference. Okay, I think I will stop this, but as you can see, it's already few parts done. Like this, I was trying the materials, so I made this and rendered this, and I knew like, okay, I will choose you here, I will change a bit the settings and so on and so on. It was quite a good method how to go. So okay, I will stop this and we'll go to Photoshop. Okay, so this was my final render, not that which I showed you before. After this was the one which I changed in Photoshop. So this is my final render, and I knew I need to make the shadows a bit more darker. So for this is the ambient occlusion map. As you can see, it's this kind of a render where the highlights are not our interest, but the black spots or the black parts are interesting for us. We are using the multiply blending option with Photoshop, but usually we are decreasing the opacity of the map, because not doing that it would be too dark. So we are using the map but changing a bit the opacity, and as you can see, almost everywhere the shadows will go up. Like here there are no shadows, but instantly there is the shadow which we need there. Also, you can notice the dots here, they are made just with the bump map. So okay, no problem. Okay, after I did that, I made some color balance of that. Looking on that, I placed there a bit too much red. Okay, let's go with settings like this. So I change a bit the color balance of that. So as you can see, just playing with this on all levels, I have to say. Then I use the curves to make again a S shape. In this case I wasn't making the S shape uh, so big, just a small one. As you can see, this is lower, this is higher. Even though it's not an S shape, I was trying to do it the same way I did before. So trying to do the S shape. So in one moment the highlights will go up, in the second the dark parts will go a bit down. So there will be high difference between the highlights and the dark parts. Now, if you see here, you will see our reflections. Now they are really very small. The reflections are taken just from the screwdrivers, and they are very blurry. Now this was made using a small reflectivity, controlling the IR, and also using the glossiness on a low value. Like this, we made the reflections very small and blurry. Here, the reflections are much higher, and so on. You can see the reflection is also here, here, and here, and so on. And that's it. As you can see, the way the workflow which I choose to make this is quite universal. You can put this on everything. So starting with positioning the camera, then making the background. In my case, it was the plane, the screwdrivers, and so on. Then placing the lights. If you know how it will be, what will be at the bottom, you can start making the lights there and the setup, and start to make the sample materials in the scene. In the moment you have this, you have the materials tested, like okay, this one will be looking fine. You can start to place everything on the final model, do the final render, change few settings in Photoshop, and you are basically done. Nothing hard, as you can see. And I would like to stop here because yeah, I think or better, I thought that this part will be a bit shorter, but at the end it will be, I think, the same length as the part before, but it's a lot shorter than the time I needed to set up this and the materials and so on. And now I will just point on one thing. You see this white spot here and here. Here you can see the, and also here, the difference between the changes in the glossiness setting. So there are always something different. Now this is very clear, white spot, this is blurry one, bigger. So you can see, okay, this was just like the site information. Let's go with that. So I would like to ask you, really, give me some comments on this, like if this method or this approach is okay for you. If not, okay, we'll go back. In some in certain cases, probably I will choose this again, but I will not prefer this way. If was everything clear, like if you saw how the lights were, the materials and so on, and all the comments, I will be happy to hear something. So thanks for watching. I hope you will have at least something similar which I have here myself, but I hope for something better for you, and I hope I will see it. Okay, so one more time, thanks for watching, give me some feedback, and I will see you in the next part by some other tutorial. So bye bye.